Hi Virgo, welcome to your January 2023 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. As you can hear, Rafi is a little bit under the weather at the moment, so I apologise for any coughing and sputtering that you may hear moving forward. But before we start, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your actions and interactions with the world at large over the course of January, can you believe it, 2023. So we ran the gauntlet, right? That was 2022 and we made it to 2023. That is promising to be a weird and wonderful year. So for your actions and interactions with the world at large, you've got the Lovers card. So there's a lot of choices that you guys are making over the course of this month. Now, you know, very general, we're always making choices every single day. The thing with the Lovers card is this suggests that some of the decisions that you're going to be faced with over the course of this month, they will be matters potentially of the heart space, but it also suggests that this month you're making decisions that there's kind of no coming back from. So rather than this just being like, oh, you know, well, I'm making decisions this month, like every single day of my life, Raf, this is going to be probably at least one or two decisions that you kind of know. Once you move past this, once you make this choice, once you move in a certain direction, that's kind of it. There is no coming back from it. Now, in terms of love, partnerships and relationships, for those of you that are in them, this month it looks like you're dedicating a lot more time, effort and energy to your partner, to your relationship, which is great. For those of you that are single, maybe you are more focused on maybe why you don't have somebody in your life and what that means and what you're ready and willing and able to do about it at this moment in time. So the heart is open this month, and I kind of feel like a lot of the choices that you're making are coming from that heart space. It's not necessarily something that we talk about with Virgo, but the way that I see it is, you know, Virgo being the sign of true service to the world. In order to do that, yes, you have to be practical and you have to be practically minded, but you actually have to have you know, emotional intelligence. Your EQ has to be quite high in order to serve people. This is one thing that you know, I worked in the service industry for a lot of my life actually, and one of the things that really always pissed me off about some of the customers that we would have, you know, and I heard this line in a film and I can't remember for the life of me what the film was called, but the message was, the line was, it takes incredible courage and dignity to serve other people. And that is really genuinely the truth, especially to do it with a smile, to do it well, and to do it from a place of love and care. That takes heart. And if you're not doing that and you don't have that and you're not injecting it, your service is only going to be so-so. That's the bottom line of it. Right, so soapbox moment over. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. So I love this, especially because it's next to the Lovers card. So for those of you that are single, this could absolutely, like, this is, you know, like that phenomena where it's like you wait for a bus, there's none for hours and then like literally 3 turn up all at once. This is kind of that. So for those of you that are single, you may notice this month that you are getting some extra attention. You might notice that things are a little bit more amplified than you are used to, or maybe that you've been used to for a while. Now, because you've got the Wheel of Fortune in the communication sector, it does suggest that this month communication is likely to be quite fast for you, which is interesting given that your ruling planet Mercury is currently doing his retrograde dang in the sign of Capricorn, which is a trine energy to your sun, moon or ascendant, whichever one you're watching for. Now, what's interesting about that is because it's a positive energy flow that's pouring into your sign, even though it's a retrograde and it may come with a miscommunication or two, the Wheel of Fortune, being that Jupiterian energy, suggests that whatever it is, suggests that this retrograde could actually bring something back into your life that you had thought was either over, or maybe you weren't in the position to accept or to move ahead with at the time. Now, the beauty of this is, especially with the Lovers card, for some of you, one of the choices that you're making that's a heartfelt decision this month It might be, you know, let's say you broke up with somebody and this month you find some way to reconcile, retrograde, reconcile. That's one way this could show up. Another way that it could show up is an opportunity that you had for work, for business, for, you know, maybe some creative or academic endeavor. Maybe you weren't able to move ahead with it previously when it came up, but this time round, this month, you're going for it. You're absolutely holding to it. Finally, with the Wheel of Fortune, because it's usually always good luck. It's very rare to see the Wheel of Fortune come up as something gnarly. It has to have very specific cards around it. And what really, excuse me, what really strikes me as interesting with this is the fact that the Lovers card is there. So it's like you are making a decision, and it is going to be a hard decision potentially, but it is one that amplifies or enhances your life experience. So this is great, right? Now, when it comes to communications as a whole, they are easier. They're a bit more buoyant this month. I will say, you know, even you, my dear Virgo, you might be a little bit kind of overly optimistic, so just keep that in mind, but you know, it's great. Now, when it comes to the love and relations, or should I say your heart and hearth, you've got the Four of Swords, right? So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, if you've had challenges or issues with your significant other, this month it looks like they're being put on ice. But a part of that comes from standing still. It's almost like you're being urged this month because you've got this next to the Wheel of Fortune, right? So it's like the communication, the quality or the level of communication between you and your significant other is improving this month, but you are being asked to kind of take stock of, okay, well, how did we get to this place? For those of you that are single, as I said, I feel like this could be somebody coming back into your world, which could be very exciting. It could be, you know, very fun, especially because there's an element of, if you're single, there's an element of like you are quite standoffish at first, right? And it's kind of like there's this element of, you know what, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it, we're going to relearn everything about each other from the start. So we're treating this as a second go round, or as a brand new start, rather than like a pick up where we left off kind of energy, which is actually a very wise way to be. And then for the money and materials, we've got the Queen of Cups. Interesting, because the Queen of Cups has been quite active for the money sector. Now, when it comes to your finances, your money and your resources this month, this is you trying to figure out ways to grow your finances. This is also you looking at ways that you can utilize your skills, your creative abilities, whether at work, whether in your own business, whether, you know, skills that you have. It's almost like you're saying to yourself, I need to nourish and nurture myself in order to improve my resources. It does suggest as well that money or opportunities to grow or expand your resources are coming through familial ties, through friendships, potentially through women that you know. Usually the Queen of Cups is a water sign woman, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So if you have anybody like that around you, be open to those conversations, especially because you've got the Wheel of Fortune in the conversation sector, which means there's a possibility that you could come up with either some great idea or there's a boost to the finances that comes through some of your connections. All right, so this month it really is about who you know as opposed to what you know. The other thing with the Queen of Cups as well, this is support or an ally that comes in, somebody that genuinely cares for you, that I feel like is going to help you see your monetary experience in a very different light. For your first week of the month, you have the Hermit card, and you've got this right underneath the Lovers. Now, it's interesting because you are the Hermit card, right? The Hermit card is Virgo ruled, and the Lovers card is Gemini. Both of these cards are ruled by your ruler, Mercury. So this first week of the month is going to be a very mercurial energy. Now, this might also be that this first week of the month sees you either needing to travel or deciding to take some time out. There is a sense here that you're withdrawing from something, and that is a heartfelt decision. It's almost like you're saying, okay, you know what, I can't, maybe it's not even so much that you can't deal or that you can't process, but it's almost like in order to process, I need some quiet. And so this is you kind of pulling away from the madness that is the world at this moment in time, so that you can hear yourself think, which, hey, listen, I'm all for it. For your second week of the month, you've got the Temperance card. This is really interesting, right? So Temperance is Sagittarius. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. So you've got a very Mercurial energy in the first week of the month, and you've got a very Jupiterian energy in the second week of the month. You are finding balance and equilibrium, but more importantly, you are leaning very heavily in this first half of January on your spiritual understandings, wisdom, philosophies, or ideologies. There's a sense that this month it's like you're really digging into your spiritual self, and it's kind of like, you know, I don't know if you've ever done one of those mazes that you do in the dark and you've just got a rope and you have to kind of, you know, like it's all pitch black and you've just got a rope and you have to kind of just feel it out. That is how I see this first half of the month happening for you guys. It's almost like you're just following a string or a thread or a feeling that only you can really kind of grasp, but it's leading you down the right path. Now, for your third week of the month, you've got the Judgment card with the Four of Swords. Look, I'm going to be really honest with you. It does suggest that there could potentially be a little bit of intensity around a relationship this month. This third week of the month is probably going to do it. And it might be a time where the communication between you and a partner just seems to not mesh or gel. And it's not to say that it's going to be a problem or that it's a deal breaker, but it is going to be a moment where you kind of have to say, okay, you know what, we're clearly getting nowhere here. Let's find a different tactic. Especially if this is like a recurring conversation that you've had before. It's like, you know, like, and we have this with everybody, you know, like with family, with friends, there's always that thing that we have to agree to disagree on because we're like, okay, you know what? We're never going to see eye to eye on this. And so this might be something this month that you're having to really kind of be aware of. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you know I call the Judgment card sometimes the Blast from the Past card. If you're single, the chances are there is a reconnection with a past partner, with somebody from your history. It doesn't have to be your recent past. This could be somebody that you dated many years ago. But either which way, there is someone coming back into your life over the course of this month. And then finally, for your fourth week of the month, you've got the Tower card. You've got this with the Queen of Cups. It's just really interesting because that combination's come up twice now, which for me usually suggests that it's going to be a world event that affects all of us in some way. Now, I wonder what's happening with the finance sector in the fourth week of January. I would also say that this can be a very good thing, but the Tower card with the Queen of Cups, it, you know, maybe there's a chance for you to get ahead financially, but it's almost like you have to act so quickly that you're kind of like, ugh, I really don't know what to do. And that feels like what the Lovers was talking about right at the beginning of the reading. It's almost like this month there's going to be at least one or two decisions that you really not struggle to make, but it's like you really have to search your feelings on which way is the right way to go in this decision. So it'll be interesting to see how it shows up. Now, for your moons, remember, whenever I'm talking the astrology of the moons, I'm always talking about your ascendant first, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, but always still relevant. So the new moon in Aquarius is taking place for you in the 6th house. This is all to do with your work, your daily habits, your routines, but it's also how you maintain the things that you have in your life that you need. So in, you know, like, how do you maintain your body? How do you maintain your job? How do you use your finances and your resources? This new moon in Aquarius on the 21st of January is really asking you to look at that. How do I use the day-to-day energy? And the 6th house is a house that you have an affinity with anyway, because the 6th house is it's the house that kind of has a Virgoan trait or energy to it. So it's interesting, right? Like, this new moon for you, I think, is really going to highlight where are you being true to yourself, and where are you maintaining the things in your life that you feel give you nourishment, and where are you not. And your message for the new moon is the Gate 7 and discipline. So is this something that you have kind of not been slacking on, but is discipline something that you can bring more of into your day-to-day routines, your daily habits, the way that you kind of work through things, right? It's almost like you're yeah, like it's almost like you're getting a kind of heads up to say this is where you're going to need to put your focus for the next, well, from here right through until August, because that's when the Aquarius full moon is. So for me, when it comes to moons, I always do them in 6-month increments. Like a lot of people do, you know, the new moon to the full moon. They're opposite energies usually, so whatever you start at a new moon, it will be the corresponding full moon where you get the results from that. All right, nature does its work over time, not instantaneously. Now, when it comes to this card specifically as well, this new moon may highlight to you some changes that you need to make that other people are either not on board with, or maybe you get some kickback from, but you have to hold to it anyway. This is kind of like that feel the fear and do it anyway. Then the Cancer full moon on the 6th of January, so right at the beginning of the month, around this sort of time. You've got a full moon in the 11th house, which is your friends, friendship circles, your social media presence. It is how you connect to and interact with the world sort of on that bigger, broader level. And it's also what we call benefactors, people that can help or assist you. And I wonder if that Queen of Cups is playing that supportive role for you in some regard. For this, you've got the Gate 53 and opening. And the message behind this card is, you only ever catch a glimpse, right? So if there is an offer or an opportunity that comes up this month, you might not be able to see all of what it has the potential to be, but the potential is absolutely there. The Gate 53 in the human design energy, and specifically with this card, what you can't see on the card is that inside the opened door, you can just see a hint of the Empress. The Empress is a very abundant energy. If you've been with me long enough, you know I've talked about that for a while. So the fact that you've got this means that this full moon, which is in Cancer, by the way, and you've got the Queen of Cups in your money sector, it does suggest that there are potentials here for you to increase the yield or the finances that you've got or you're getting by connections with or through others. And they may not seem like much on the surface, but when you give them time to develop, you'll see what else they can become. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Happy New Year to you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.